Hi, everyone. This is Barbara Robertson, and I am from Lacta Learning, and I'm joined today by my co-founder, Nancy Moorbacher. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning, Barbara.
So, Nancy, we are here to talk a little bit about our recertification courses that we have. And before we get to that, though, tell me a little bit about your background. What's going on with you?
Okay. Well, I started in peer support,
Mhm.
which I know you did as well. I was a LH League leader back in 1982, and then in 91, I became a board certified lactation consultant, and I started a large private practice in the Chicago area. After that, I joined a breast pump company and did professional trainings around the world. And, in the meantime, I've been writing books. After that, I started working in the hospital setting, where in the Chicago area where I live, the hospitals hired me on to help them improve their breastfeeding practices. So I've really kind of run the gamut.
You've really worked in kind of almost all the roles that an IBCLC would serve. And yeah, as you mentioned, I started in peer support and then became a private practice IBCLC 2004. But my true love is teaching. And so have a master's in curriculum development and really have been able to combine lactation and teaching, my two favorite things. And so that's how Lacta Learning was born.
Mhm.
Now, we met each other during the pandemic.
Right.
I had started doing book groups, and you had just released your new edition of my favorite book, Breastfeeding
Yep.
Answers.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah, and so we've done several successful book groups together, and that was a lot of fun. And so, what happened after that?
Well, it was interesting. I mean, you and I realized that we had very compatible strengths, and
Mhm.
we thought we would make a great team. And during the book group, we had one of our students who suggested, we were talking about creating a course, a 95-hour course for those aspiring to become lactation consultants. And she suggested that we do it, structure it according to the detailed content outline that the IBLCE created, which was really struck us like what a wonderful idea. And so that was sort of the genesis of Lacta Learning.
Yeah.
And I think what really got me interested and set it apart from other ventures that I've been involved in is your master's in curriculum development with the focus on adult learning, because so many of the courses that are offered are lecture only.
Mhm.
And you know from your studies that that's not the way people learn best. And so that really, like for me too, I'm very devoted to education, and that just really drew me in.
Nancy and I share very much the idea that we want the best lactation supporters out there, and any way we can help support them with accurate research-based evidence, but also focusing on the social emotional, those communication skills. And so we really aligned beautifully with our philosophies. And so we created a 95-hour course. That was our first thing. But
Mhm.
then there were a lot of changes in recertification, and that's what we're going to talk about today
Right.
is the options for recertification. And we have quite a few of those. We really have created a suite of options
Mhm.
to fulfill all of your educational needs for recertification,
Right.
IBCLC recertification. And so let's take a look a little bit at, because I feel like it's fully developed now. We
Mhm.
really have covered all the things that we feel like you might need. So I'm
Yeah,
going to go ahead and share my screen.
we've been working hard on this for the last few years, so we're going to share with you the result of all that hard work.
Right. And so this is our site, lactalearning.com. And if you go to our courses, you'll see IBCLC recertification. And we'll scroll down just a hair. And we have two options now, which is a big change. It used to be every 10 years you had to take the exam. And
Mhm.
now you can always recertify by CERPS, which is my
Right.
choice. But if you
Mhm.
do choose to certify by exam, Nancy, what do we offer for people for that?
Well, we have two exam prep courses. One of them includes a PDF of my book, Breastfeeding Answers, second edition,
Yeah.
or you could get it without the book. Maybe you already have the book, or maybe you just as soon take the exam prep
Right.
course without it.
Right.
So we have that available. And one of the things when we were setting up our 95-hour course, you introduced me to Thinkific,
Mhm.
which is our online platform, and that allows us to structure the courses in a way that's really easy for you to get the areas that you're looking for.
Yeah. And so we have test taking strategies and
Mhm.
we go through each of the
Right.
required items from the detailed content outline. We have
Right.
practice quizzes. We have an assessment
Hmm.
place where you can assess your skills. So
Hmm.
if you're going to take the exam, we have that support for you as well.
Yeah, practice exams are included.
Mhm. But let's talk about recertifying by SERPs because
Right.
that's, continuing education in our minds is really what we want. We want people to be growing and
Right.
changing their practice based upon the latest evidence.
Right.
All right. And so if we see this, we certifying by SERPs made simple, and we have three different options.
Hmm.
Let's talk about our 75-hour course
Okay.
last. But
Okay.
if let's say you've been to some conferences, you have some SERPs, you took the CE assessment, and you know you need, say, 5 hours in pharmacology.
Okay.
Well, so if you go to our site and you can see, we also offer nursing
Yeah.
contents for
That was the
these.
middle box that she clicked on by topic area.
Mhm. And
So
yeah,
what you will see there is that we have each topic area, we have options. You might need 5 hours is normally what's required after you take your
mhm,
CE self-assessment. Most of us, I think, find that there are areas that we need to take because the way that the CE self-assessment, which you get a link to that from the IBLCE, that most of us do actually need
yeah,
SERPs in specific topic areas.
right.
So what you've got here is you've gone down to the pharmacology section, which is section 4,
Mhm.
and one of the options is to register for 5 hours.
And we also have down in section 7, we have the ethics
Hmm.
that you might need. And so we
Right.
have 5 hours ethics, and that includes 2 hours on the WHO code, or you
Hmm.
could just take 2 hours on the WHO code.
Right.
So those are required to recertify.
Right.
So yeah, so let's say you just need a little bit, we
Right.
have that for you.
Hmm.
We also have other things. We have book groups, we
Hmm.
have some conferences, and so maybe that would be a way that you would choose to get CERPs for recertification.
Right. Because
And
the
for
book
each,
groups, what is the range? Somewhere between like 17 and 36 SERPs
I
per
think it's
book group. Depends on which one
14,
you choose.
yeah, 14 through 36.
Hmm.
And we have a list of the detailed content outlined, the hours so you can see what is what.
Yeah, one of the things that we have done right from the beginning is we tell you for
Mhm.
anything you take from us, we tell you even before you register how many hours you get in each one of the topic areas. So
Yep.
that is not a mystery.
Yeah. Because not everybody does that. All
Mhm.
right, well, let's look at our comprehensive 75-hour recertification
Okay.
course.
Yeah, and
The
this will give you a
beauty,
sense of what makes our courses in general different from other providers.
yeah, the beauty about this course is it has at least 5 hours in each section. So no
Hmm.
matter what your CE assessment said, we've got you covered. It
Right.
has the 5 hours of ethics, and that includes the 2 hours on the WHO code. So it's
Right.
everything you need in one place.
Right. So in other words, if you have a very small number or no SERPs at all, and you need to get the all, close to the full 75, this might be a good option for you.
And it comes with a PDF, e-copy of Nancy's book,
Right.
Breastfeeding Answers, second edition.
Right. And
And
part of what's involved in each of the lessons too is I do provide the page numbers for
mhm.
each of the lessons if you want to read about that in the book.
So let's actually take a look at that. So this is our comprehensive course, our 75 hours.
This is the Think of It platform we talked about.
Exactly. This is our online learning platform. And so let's take a look at feeding behaviors at different ages. Again, Nancy mentioned we have the reading each page
Right.
of her book. We
Right.
have videos. We
Right.
have some text. We often have websites for you to go visit. We could have a
Podcasts.
podcast,
So
infograph.
So one of the things we do differently from other providers is we do provide a mix of learning modalities.
Yeah.
So that all of those different ways of learning, which we think is better suited to different learning styles.
Right.
I mean, we, for many years, all we've really had in terms of continuing education is PowerPoint
Mhm.
presentations, lectures.
Right.
But as I say, Barbara has learned, through her education curriculum, that that isn't really the best way to learn or to retain knowledge. So that's why we do things a little differently.
Well, and it's interesting because the research says that people say they prefer lecture PowerPoint, but the fact is retention is just not as good.
Mhm.
And as I mentioned earlier, Nancy and I's goal is that we are going to help you become better lactation
Right,
support folks.
right.
And so that's always our goal.
Yeah,
Another thing that surprised us was that people wanted to continue to have access to our courses even once they finished.
right. And I think that's partly because we don't just provide a lecture you watch once and are done with.
Mhm.
What we provide here, these videos, the articles and such things like the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine
Right.
protocols, the book, these are resources that you can use in your practice. And that's why people
Yeah.
want to continue to access our courses, because these are resources you'll use again and again.
Right. Again, Nancy and I, we take our work very seriously and we think about what would we be using as a resource with
Right,
our work. And that's what we've provided to you so that you can have it as well.
right.
So, yeah, people have been really enjoying it. It's far more than 75 hours of material. So, Nancy, what can they do about that?
Well, I think what they'll do is they'll choose the areas that they feel like they're going to use in their daily practice more. Like, for
Right.
example, someone who works in the NICU might focus a lot on the preterm baby.
Yeah,
For someone who works in the community, maybe they won't focus so much on what happens in the NICU, but they'll look at the larger course of breastfeeding. So everybody can pick and choose based on what they're really going to use in their practice.
exactly. So we've given a lot of autonomy. Yes, you have to pass a quiz at the end of each section. So you have to at least, review everything, but there's opportunities to really dive deeply into areas that you feel like are applicable or interesting to you, so that you can have a deeper knowledge of those. All
Right. And
right.
if you have questions about the recertification process, we do have a blog post. I think Barbara
Yeah.
mentioned that earlier
Yeah.
on backtolearning.com,
Hmm.
where we go through that process step by step. So if you do have any confusion about that, plus we have regular information sessions, live ones that we do on Zoom that you're welcome to join us. If you'd like to be on our mailing list for that, you can email Barbara at backtolearning.com, and she will put you on the list. And we just had a session the other night that was really very lively.
Yeah.
People talking about their questions and their issues, and I think everybody it's like a support group. I think for those
Hmm.
of us who are recertifying.
Yeah. And so you can find that blog at Lack to Learning. You can choose blog and then just type in recertification. It'll pop
Mhm,
up and I'll explain the exact process. And
mhm.
yeah, if you have questions, if you want to join that meeting, email me. If you have questions in general, though, you could email myself or Nancy, Nancy at lactolearning.com or Barbara at
Right.
lactolearning.com. Well, we hope that this has been interesting and helpful for you. If you're interested, we would love for you to visit lactolearning.com and check out our recertification options and hopefully, again, there should be something that can meet your needs. So thanks so much for listening.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.